Well, hello, General Hospital Daily Recap fans. Today's daily recap is for Thursday, February 16th, 2023. Thursday, February 16th. I'm feeling better, everybody. Feeling not 100%, but I'm on the mends, on the mends. I may do a couple coughs here and there, but we'll get through this, right? Please subscribe to this YouTube channel because it's rare that I'm sick. But let's get this going because we had some to me good stuff happening. Good stuff on General Hospital today. We had, boy, I tell you, I actually like Esme not having her memory. She plays this version of herself very well. Uh, Heather, she had to scream almost the whole episode. Heather spent most of her time with her hand over Esme's mouth. Ryan had to pull the guard with the one hand, had to change his clothes, put his clothes on the guard. Because he goes, I could use a hand. And she's like, oh, no, I got to take care of this, while you go do that. So he did it. And they leave. In the meanwhile, Mac is at the Metro Court talking to Felicia, saying he had to go to Spring Ridge to arrange for a transfer port for Heather to go back to Darkham the next day because she's proven she wasn't going to give him any information. She was just stalling. So Felicia told Mac she wanted to help him with Ryan. And Mac's like, no, Felicia, you know what? I'm not going to even put you through that. She goes, we were using Ryan to see if we could get information on Esme when we thought Esme was the hook killer. But Esme is ruled out as the hook killer. So Ryan is the shut in. We don't need nothing else from him. That's what they think, right? So Felicia gets her own harebrained idea. She's going to go to Ava and see if they could team up and, get Ryan to talk. But we also have Austin and Ava. Austin's over there. They're going to move Nicholas's body. Look, that body ain't in there. Bottom line. You know how many days it's been? 3. So we got a body 3 days old in this closet. That's gonna be interesting to even try. What I ain't even thinking about that because that's ridiculous. That's soap opera writing, right? So Austin, the doorbell rings, and that's when Felicia's coming to see Ava. Austin heads over to the stables. And that's probably where he's going to discover the body is gone. And or guess what? Austin already moved that body a couple days ago. The very next day, Austin probably picked up the phone and said, hey guys, I got a body you need to come get and get rid of. And or guess what? Nicholas's body is actually missing. Because isn't it interesting, everybody, that Mason was following Ava to Spoon Island? Austin got there, but Austin should have gotten there after Mason. Mason was there when he saw Ava she put that body. He probably went right in there after Austin and Ava left that stable, opened it up and looked, found out guess who wasn't really dead, but took him out. Because now he's going to have leverage. Or they're going to do something. They know who Nicholas Cassadine is, So anyway, that's going to be interesting. They didn't get back to that. Now we have they made Heather, Esme, Ryan make the great escape, and Esme is please leave me here, please, I don't want to go. And Heather has to push her. Come on, girl. So they're by the side of the road, I guess by design. And Mac is driving there, and he goes, "What the?" And he pulls over. So he's like, "Hello." Are you guys in trouble? And he has his gun out, right? And are you guys in trouble? And as they turn around, Esme and Heather, and he sees him. So now he's pulling his gun, right? And Esme's like, help me. Help me, please. They made me come. Please help me. She is doing a great job, right? And Heather's like, no, he made us do this. And just as Mac is walking closer to them or trying to figure out what's happening here, Ryan hits him on the back of the head, right? Of course. Mac hits the ground, knocked out cold. Esme screams some more. And Heather's like, come on, let's get in the car. Let's take his car. So Esme is like, no, please don't. Please just leave me. And then Heather puts her hand on top of Esme's head and pushes her in the car. And puts the seatbelt over Esme because Esme's freaking out. I'm telling you, this girl's going to go in labor right there on Spoon Island. She really is. Okay. So, because that's where they headed, right? So Ryan is getting ready to bash Mac's head in with a tire iron. And Heather's like, come on, because the alarm at Arkham had already started going off, right? And as it's going off, she's like, they know we're not there, so they're going to be looking for us. Come on, Ryan, come on. And so he's like, oh, man. He goes, fine, it's no fun. He goes, look, it's no fun to watch anyway. It's better to watch the life drain out of their eyes. I'm thinking, okay. Hold on for a quick second. So wait, the picture. Sorry, folks. Important. And so he's like, oh, you robbing me, because he goes, Mac Scorpio, this would have been so good, because he hates Mac and Mac hates him, of course. And so Heather's like, let's go. And she's honking the horn. So he gets in and she goes, God, we have to get out of here. And he goes, no, we have a stop to make first. A stop, right? And so she's like, oh my God. So I'm thinking, okay, that means they're going to Spoon Island. That means they got to take the launch, right? That means we got Esme freaking out. So the launch person is going to see. I don't know. Is this launch electronic? Because this launch person sees a whole lot of comings and going from Spoon Island. A whole lot, right? So Ava agrees that she will be partners in crime with Felicia. And so Ava's like, but I can't do it tonight. I got something else I have to do. And Felicia's like, me too. I've got something to do as well, but they're going to start on their plan tomorrow. So Ava is walking Felicia to the door to let her out. And when they open the door, Ryan is standing right there. And they're both in shock. And I'm thinking, where are they going to go with this? Ryan has Felicia and Ava in one fatal swoop. But yet Austin is a wild card on the premises that nobody knows about, right? This is going to be interesting how it's going to play out. See, now we're finally getting into some good February sweeps from General Hospital. So then we have the aftermath of the wedding. We have Sonny and Nina at the Metro Court eating at the table. Jocelyn comes over to to Cameron, because Cameron is there. And she goes, Cameron, she's talking to Drew first. Cameron comes later. She comes up to Drew, and so she asked Drew something silly, and then Drew says, yeah, well, something about he's alone. And so she goes, yeah, but we know who you'd rather be with. And I'm thinking, see, it's all of this kind of stuff. She knows Carly explained to her why it had to be kept a secret. So I'm going to make reference to all of this in public and making light of it. And as she's leaving, walking away from Drew, she says, tell my mom I said hi. See, that kind of stuff. See, Ava's going to catch wind of something like that. She didn't hear all of that at the Metro Court, But it's that kind of free talk that always gets folks in trouble all the time, right? So she walks over to Spencer, and Spencer is texting Trina because he's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" He's actually very worried about Trina, right? And so Trina, but look, Trina's dealing with her own life crisis, you know, like she's dealing with what her mama told her. And so anyway, he tells Jocelyn, I don't know where Trina's at. Although he didn't know she was with her mother. I'm surprised. No, he didn't say I don't know where she's at. He says, I don't know how she's doing. Because Jocelyn knew where she was at when Portia took Trina up to their room. And she goes, have you heard from Trina? He goes, no, and I'm worried about her. So they both go, or Jocelyn leaves. And then we have, before Spencer got out to the main dining area, Curtis, Marshall, and Taggart were questioning him. And he's like, look, this is a family matter. And they're like, you know what? You're going to talk. Where did you and Trina go? So Spencer looks at them to go visit your Aunt Stella. And so Curtis is like, Aunt Stella? And Spencer's like, yeah, Trina was very worried as to why Stella didn't come to the wedding. And she was going to convince Stella to, if she's well enough, to just come, make an appearance for you. And so Curtis says, but Aunt Stella was sick. And so Spencer says, yeah, that's what we thought, but we got to the room and she's not sick. She chose not to come. And they're like, why would Stella choose not to come? He goes, look, I don't know. I wasn't privy. She didn't say, and he goes, and at this point, this is all I know. This is a family matter. And I'm going to remove myself. Spencer walks away. He's like, no, no, no. So he walks away from them. And they're like, what's going on? And so they're like, you know what? I think Portia and Trina have been gone long enough, right? So now they're going to head up to Portia and Trina. But what's interesting to me, I'm surprised Curtis didn't go ask his aunt. I say, Stella, what's the deal? I hear you weren't sick. But he goes straight to Portia, right? So we've got Portia. I was surprised, everybody. I was shocked and amazed. She told Trina the truth. I guess she knew she had to tell Trina the truth because Stella is not going to keep it. Portia knows that if Stella will tell, even though she told Jordan, Stella can keep a secret. Stella's not going to tell. Well, she could see by Trina's whole expression that Stella said something, right? And so Trina told her, she told me it's a secret about me and it affects Curtis too. So Portia's like, oh my goodness. She's like, oh my goodness gracious, it's gonna come out. So she breaks it all down. Yep. After Curtis ended it with her, weeks later, she found out she was pregnant, and Marcus came home while she had just taken the pregnancy test. So they found out together and they were so happy. And Marcus started being more attentive to her, which is all she ever wanted. And blah, blah, blah. And everything I did for you. I didn't want to upset you. Or she goes, no, no, no. You have lied to me all my life. The actress that played Trina did a very good job. Bravo. She was phenomenal in her reaction and her actions to what she said. And so Portia says, no, no. I mean, no, I did not want your life to change. I didn't want, and says, Trina's like, no, no. You were only looking out for you. She said, you weren't thinking of me. Because me and dad should have known from the beginning, but you only cared about yourself. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. And she said, all my life? And she goes, no, I should have handled it different. I'm sorry. I'm thinking, sure you are. I'm sorry. I could have, I could have made, but no, every choice I made since I knew I was pregnant with you was all about you. And Trina's like, I don't even want to hear that. I don't even want to look at you right now because my whole identity is at stake because of you. And she says, and you've lied to me my whole life, and you've lied to her, Curtis, all these years, and my dad. Oh, Trina's just like, oh no, I can't even look at you. So she's turning to try to walk away from Portia, and Portia tries to like grab her arm, and she goes, don't you touch me, right? She goes, I'm getting out of here. So she opens the door to leave, and there's Curtis and Taggart. And Portia has her hand still on Trina's arm, right? And Portia's looking like, uh, yeah, Portia, oh, oh, no, no. Yeah, no, those tears are not gonna mean anything. Just like they didn't mean anything to Trina. Oh, because look, Portia told Trina, I don't know. There is a possibility you could still be Taggart's daughter. There's a possibility still. And Trina's like, why, after all these years, do you not know? She goes, you're a doctor, for God's sake. That's right. That's like I said, for 18 years, Portia could have got, and see, don't even forget 18 years. From 2 months on, Portia could have gotten a DNA test done easily. She and Taggart were still together. She could have got his DNA and Trina's DNA, and she could have got that DNA test done years ago. But she chose not to. So tomorrow, I knew they were going to drag this out to cliffhanger Friday, and I'm looking so forward to it because now Curtis should know. She's going to have to tell Curtis because Trina is not going to tell neither one of them. Trina is hurt and she's on her way out, and they're going to say, Trina, what's going on? And she's going to say, asked her. And she'll probably storm off, and she's going to storm right into Spencer's arms because Spencer is still there, right? So she'll probably go off with Spencer. Lord knows where she's going to stay, maybe in her dorm. I don't know, maybe Spencer stay with her because she's not going to shack up with Spencer or Sonny's, right? But Spencer has money. Spencer could get her a room at the Metro Court. We can stay with her. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what they're going to have going on with that. But that was good. Portia had to finally come clean with her. And now she's going to have to come clean with the guys as well. So then we have Maggie talking to Dante because Maggie was going to hit Dante all on the head with this flat back thing. And he looked and caught her like, hey, hey, hey. And he takes it out of her hand. And just as she's trying to run past him, you run out the door, Sam's at the door. And Sam's like, Maggie Fitzgerald. And she looks, and Dante looks, and she goes, yeah, the lady that rented us our room. She said, this is Maggie, right? And so they question her. They're like, why would you lie? And she said, because I didn't know if you guys were here to hurt me. Because her father is a very dangerous man, and I know something that no one else knows, and I knew at any given time he could send somebody to kill me, to shut me up. And so finally they're like, okay, well, who is her father? And she finally said, his name is Ryan Chamberlain. And they looked, and the mouth drops open, and looks, and mouth drops open, and Dante is kind of like, that makes sense. she worked at Spring Ridge, so she could be, it's all fitting into place. And her devious made sense, right? So now they don't really have to take Maggie back to Port Charles now that they got the information. But they're going to come back. But guess what? Daddy Dearest, and nobody knows Heather's mommy Dearest, goddaughter Dearest on the run. So this is going to be interesting how they handle that. I think Heather, in the end, Heather and Ryan are both going to end up being in Darkham together, because Ryan no longer qualifies to stay in minimum security Spring Ridge. He's not a shed-in at all. At all. So look, Ava should have played. Nah, you know what? Forensic wouldn't have matched up. I'm like, look, they could have paid their cards right and said that Ryan killed Nicholas, right? But Nicholas was killed 2-3 days ago, so the body wouldn't prove that it just was killed by Ryan. But that's interesting how they're going to handle that. We got a whole lot of moving parts and a whole lot of things going on. And let's see how it all plays out, how some of them are going to intermix. Because see, we got Ava and her situation with Nicholas, but now we got Ava entwined with Ryan in that situation. I'm trying to figure out what's going to happen with that, everybody. So anyway, before I go to Comment Corner, we do have a few comments that I will be able to get through today because it's not too many of them. And I do apologize, like I said, for the other yesterday's not being able to read those 44 comments. It was a lot of I knew I couldn't make it. But I did some research over the weekend, looking back, because remember we were talking about what child did Jake donate organs to, or who was it? What baby was it? See, and I know why I can't remember. Because they have rapidly aged Jocelyn. Because look, everybody, Jocelyn's in college now, right? In her 20s. How old is Elizabeth's Jake? Jake is just a teenager. Probably 3 years younger than Cameron. So he's probably 15 now, 16 maybe, 16. Okay. Back then, Jake and Jocelyn were the same age, if not Jake older than Jocelyn. I've looked up in the archives on YouTube. When Jake was hit, Jake is older than Jocelyn. When Jake was hit that night, okay, Jocelyn's in the hospital and she was a much smaller toddler, right? And that's where they found out that she had cancer in both kidneys. And they were going to start chemotherapy because there was no donor match and it was harder to find kidneys for a child that age, right? Carly's crying, not wanting them to pump her baby full of poison the next day. And I'm thinking, but chemo's kind of a standard treatment. And okay, Carly, right? I mean, I'm not, there's no medical thing, oh, do chemo, don't do chemo. I'm just saying chemo was a viable alternative for the cancer, right? To keep her alive enough to till she could get a transplant. So remember how they rewrote history and somehow Jax got in contact with Nell Benson's. See, how did all that happen? How did they know Nell was a match? Benson wouldn't have known. You see what I'm saying? And then when I went back and saw the actual show, that did not happen. When Jocelyn was hospitalized and everything was fast happening, right? Alexis and Jax were in one of the boardrooms or, like of the hospital. They were searching the donor registry base. Alexis was typing, Jax was typing, they were doing research. They were trying, to find a donor match for Jocelyn. Carly came in crying, saying they wanted to do chemo the next day, that Jocelyn didn't have enough time. But Carly had, when she left out of there, because Jack said something off the wall to her, yelling at her, and she runs out. Now, mind you, Jason is still stunned because Jason had watched the surgery. He saw Jake's brain, just no brain activity, right? And Patrick and Robin, they just closed him up and they kept him on life support for the possibility of donation. They were going to talk to the parents, right? So they did. And Elizabeth was like, no, I want my son in one piece. And no, she wasn't going to do it. Even though she's a nurse, but no. So Carly overheard Robin and Patrick telling them that Jake was gone, which made her sad because she knew Jake was Jason's son. And them doing donation, organ donation, could save a lot of children. But Elizabeth wasn't ready to hear it. And rightfully so. She's grieving. Her son just died. So anyway, Carly then goes to find Jason, who was on the roof, and telling them, Jocelyn, they're going to start giving her chemo tomorrow. They're going to start putting that poison in my baby. I'm sorry to be asking you this, but Jake's kidney could save Jocelyn, if he's a match. And he's like, well, I would have to talk to Elizabeth about it. And she goes, please, Jason, please talk to her because this could save my baby and blah, 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 whatever. Well, mind you, when all of this is still happening, Jax never left the boardroom with Alexis. And they struck out on the registry. And Alexis says, look, Nick, Jax, do you want me to put a call into, I think she said the governor or some higher up, saying because Jocelyn's case, a child so young, maybe we could get her pushed up to the front of the donor list. And Jax looked at Alexis and Jax said no, because that would not be fair to the child that has been on that list that is just as sick as Jocelyn and that deserves to be next. That's what Jack said, right? And so he goes, we'll just have to keep searching, right? And he's thinking what to do. Jack's never left to make a phone call to now somehow find Frank Benson and have Frank Benson somehow take his daughter to somewhere to get butchered up, because you still need to be tested to see if it'd be a match, right? So Elizabeth came around and said she would do it. I initially thought Patrick and Robin did the took all the the donatable organs, but it was the other doctor that was working there, and Lisa, or the one I guess that Patrick had an affair with, that caused him and Robin to break up with. She was a little devious, couldn't stand her. And so they were the ones that took care of all of the organs from Jake and or Jocelyn. And actually, it just showed them doing the operation on Jocelyn. They didn't say who took Jake's organs out. Okay. I don't know if they had Jake willed in, because I kind of think they did, but sometimes it's done by different doctors, right? So Helena would have to have had her own team of doctors ready, or personnel, medical personnel, ready to get Jake out of there, who was only being kept alive on life support because his brain stopped functioning, right? They would have to have switched another child in that operating room. I mean, where in the room Jake was in, another child that was a match because they tested and Jake was a match. So see, none of that made sense. That never would have worked because they did Jocelyn's surgery within the hour of Jake's donation. So there was no time for Jax to ever have gone anywhere and gotten a kidney, let alone Frank Bennell's father. That just that was writing that they hoped you had forgotten what really happened. 100%. And when you watch it, you see the chain of events, and there's just no way. Jax never even left the hospital, and Jocelyn was in surgery getting her kidney. So that was just something that I thought, the internet's a powerful thing, everybody. YouTube's going to tell you what happened or show you what rabbit hole they let us down at the time, right? Okay, so now we've got comment corner. Oh, and I'm doing pretty good. Oh my goodness. Shakira says, I hope you feel better soon. Me too. Thank you, Shakira. Sandy says, Nina is at her best friend's wedding and still all she can think about is Carly. Nina is obsessed. You need some ginger and lemon tea. That was funny. And DB says, instead of minding her business, I know Nina can't. Nina is just so Nina. Sandy says, Stella got Trina set up to ask the right questions of Portia. Yes, she did. Are we ever going to hear the truth? Yes, we did. Everyone knew the bartender was Maggie except the police detective and the private detective. I know, right? Excuse me. I knew that was Maggie. And DB says, and weren't they standing in the window when she pulled out that box of letters? I know that. I guess they just didn't see that. Anita said, daily recap, lady. I hope your allergies are better soon. Thank you, Anita. Trina disappeared from the reception because she decided to see Aunt Stella to see why she wasn't at the wedding. I knew Stella wasn't going to expose Portia. Nope, but she did one better. She put enough doubt in there because Trina, before Portia even said Curtis could be your father, Trina said, Curtis could be my father. Oh my goodness. That's right. Right. And Cindy says, sorry you're not feeling well, daily recap lady. Well wishes to you. Thank you, Cindy. LaShanta said, Nina loved Carly. I guess you love both Nina and Cardi. I knew that was Maggie. Heather and Ryan shaking my head. Esme scared. Her memory's gone. Come back. No, I kind of like Esme like this. Ava and Ryan are coming to you. No, Ava, Ryan is coming to you. Laura's looking for Nicholas. She's on to Ava. Trina should have left Stella alone. I'm glad Stella put Spencer in his place because Spencer did say something and Stella looked at him. Let me tell you something, young man. And he's like, oh, sorry. Oh my goodness. Yes, ma'am. Come through, Stella. Now Portia's gonna be in the hot seat. Yes, she is. Trey Voice says Spencer's a legacy character. Of course, he has every right to be seen and heard no matter what, as much as the next person. Well, it's like this, Trey Voice. Spencer is a 20-year-old, and I'm in my 60s. Let me tell you something. The 20-year-old is still going to show me respect, period. Respect. There we go. You got to learn that respect of your elders. And that's something that's not being taught enough today. Okay? It's like this. Somebody in their 20s, they don't call me by my name, right? And I was almost said my name, y'all. You know I don't say my name. If you're in your 20s, you either call me Miss last name or you call me Miss first name. Okay? So, hi, Miss Daly, or hi, Miss Recap. You guys know I'm feeling better if I did that, right? Oh my God, but I better not laugh too much because I'm going to start coughing. So yes, but Spencer, no. Still got to have some respect. Um, and Anna Rihanna says, hope you're feeling better, daily recap lady. Thank you, Anna Rihanna. Medora says, feel better. So I'm happy I got good wishes. I am. I'm on the mends. I feel for sure by Monday's recap, I should be like at 95+%. I'm hoping. But anyway, that's it for Comic Corner. Thank you so much. I didn't have too many to read, but I'm sure there's going to be quite a bit because for Friday's episode, because Friday's episode should be pretty good. And I'm looking forward to it. I mean, so far we've been doing pretty good with General Hospital this week, and that makes me happy. So I will be back for another daily recap.